I pulled into the trailhead a little after 3 in the afternoon. The sky was clear, that deep mountain blue that makes everything feel larger than it really is. Sunlight filtered through the trees in long, golden lines, and for a moment I just sat there with my hands on the steering wheel, breathing it in. Pine, damp earth, cold stone somewhere beneath it all. The kind of place that makes you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be. The trail didn't look like much. Just a narrow opening in the trees, a weathered sign with half the letters faded away, and a dirt path disappearing into shadow. Still, this was it. One of the access points to the old wildlife corridor I'd been researching. The same trail that cut across an abandoned survey route from decades ago. That if the shots turned out, this could be the project that finally put my name somewhere permanent. That I turned off the engine and listened. Wind moved through the branches overhead. Somewhere deeper in the forest, water ran over rocks in a steady rhythm. No voices. No traffic. Just that quiet that feels earned, like the land allows it. That I grabbed my pack from the back. Camera body, 2 lenses, tripod, trail food, headlamp, extra batteries. I wasn't planning to stay overnight, but experience had taught me not to trust plans out here. That I was tightening the straps when a voice behind me said, "You heading in alone?" I jumped hard enough that the tripod clattered against the bumper. A ranger stood a few feet away, one hand resting on his belt. Mid-50s maybe, sun-creased face, hat pulled low. He looked like he'd been part of the landscape for a long time. "Didn't hear you walk up," I said. "Most people don't," he replied. Not unfriendly. Just flat. That I told him I was a wildlife photographer. That I'd be scouting light and terrain. Nothing too deep. He looked past me, toward the trail, then back at my pack. "Sun drops fast in here," he said. "Trail bends more than the map shows. I'll be careful." He nodded slowly. "Cell service cuts out about a mile in." "I know." He hesitated, like there was something else he wanted to say. Then he stepped back. "Be out before dark," he said. "And if you hear anything strange, don't follow it." I smiled, the polite kind. Strange how? But he was already walking away. The trail narrowed quickly, tall trees closed in on both sides, their trunks dark and straight, blocking most of the light. The temperature dropped within minutes, like crossing an invisible line. My boots pressed into damp soil, and every sound felt louder than it should have. I stopped often, taking photos of bark patterns, broken branches, tracks near the creek. Nothing unusual. Deer. Small mammals. Normal signs of life. Still, there was a feeling I couldn't quite place. Not fear. Not yet, more like the sense of being watched, but not from one direction. From everywhere at once. I checked my watch. Just after 4. That's when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, expecting a hiker. The trail was empty. And no wind. No movement. Just trees standing still. I told myself it was echo. Sound bouncing weird in the forest. It happens. I kept walking. Another half-mile in, I found it. The reason I'd come early. An old trail marker, nearly swallowed by moss. Beyond it, barely visible, the remains of a side path. Narrower. Less traveled. The kind of place animals still used, but people had forgotten. I hesitated. The ranger's words came back to me. "Don't follow anything strange." I stepped off the main trail anyway. The forest changed almost immediately. The air felt heavier. The light dimmer, even though the canopy wasn't much thicker. Sound seemed muffled, like everything was wrapped in cloth. I moved slowly, careful not to snap branches. That's when I noticed the smell. Not decay. Not blood, something old. Dry. Like dust trapped in a closed room for decades. I raised my camera, snapping shots of the path ahead, and then I saw the footprints, human, barefoot. They were fresh, too fresh that I crouched, examining them. Adult size. Deep impression, like the person was heavier than they should have been. And they weren't walking away from the trail, they were walking toward it. Behind me that I stood up slowly, nothing there done my heartbeat felt loud in my ears that I told myself someone else was out here. A local. A hiker doing something stupid. That's when the whispering started. At first, it blended with the wind. Just enough to make me doubt myself. Then it sharpened. Took shape. That it sounded like someone speaking from far away, their voice stretched thin by distance that I couldn't make out the words, but I could tell they were repeating something, over and over. That I backed away from the footprints, retracing my steps. The whispering grew louder, closer, then suddenly, it stopped. The silence that followed felt wrong. Pressurized. Like the forest was holding its breath. That I turned to leave, and saw someone standing on the trail ahead. That he was tall. Thin. Too thin, his clothes hung off him like they'd been borrowed. His head was tilted slightly to one side, as if he were listening to something I couldn't hear. "Hey," I called out. "You okay?" He didn't move. That I took a step closer. That's when I realized he wasn't standing on the trail. That he was standing just above it, floating, not high. Just enough that his feet didn't touch the ground. Then my body locked up, every instinct screamed at me to run. The man's head snapped up, his face was wrong. Not distorted, unfinished. Features blurred, like someone had tried to remember a face and failed. His mouth opened, and my name came out. That I don't know how he knew it. That I didn't stay to find out. That I ran, branches tore at my arms as I crashed through the forest. I didn't care about direction. Just distance. Behind me, I heard footsteps, too many. Not running. Walking. Steady. Patient. Whispers filled the air again, louder now, overlapping, all saying the same thing: stay. My lungs burned. My legs screamed. That I burst back onto the main trail just as the light began to fade. The footsteps stopped, the whispers vanished. That I didn't slow down until I reached the parking lot. My car sat alone, exactly where I'd left it. That I threw my gear into the back and slammed the door shut. That as I started the engine, I saw something in the rearview mirror, the ranger, standing at the edge of the trees. Watching me. He raised one hand, not in a wave. More like a warning. That I drove away without looking back. That I never published those photos. When I reviewed them later, most were normal, except one. That a shot I didn't remember taking. That it showed the side trail, bathed in shadow, and standing behind me, reflected faintly in the lens, that unfinished face, smiling. That I don't hike alone anymore, and I never ignore warnings. Some trails don't just change your direction. They change what follows you home.